Salam India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews preparedness of COVID-19 vaccine delivery, distribution and administration, appreciates the comprehensive efforts of the stakeholders in the vaccine development, directs a time-bound plan for early rollout of the vaccination drive, also reviews the aspects of emergency use authorization of the vaccine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to grace the 8th convocation of Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University via video conferencing. Around 2,600 students to get their respective degrees and diplomas today. Union Home Minister to lay foundation stone to a slew of infrastructure projects, including Phase 2 of Chennai Metro Rail project worth rupees 67,000 crore rupees in Tamil Nadu today. Also to dedicate Gandhinagar reservoir, the 5th reservoir for Chennai, worth 300 crores to meet the additional requirement for drinking water of the city. India participates in UNSC Arya Formula meeting for Afghanistan, slams terror safe havens across Duran line, reiterates the peace process must be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled, calls for removal of artificial transit barriers imposed on the country. Day 1 of the G20 Virtual Summit today. Saudi Arabia chairs the summit. The theme for this year's summit is realizing the opportunities of the 21st century for all, likely to discuss on inclusive and sustainable recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. WHO issues additional recommendation against the use of remdesivir in COVID-19 patients. Serbian tennis player Novak Djokovic takes on Austria's Dominic Thiem in the first semi-final of the ATP Finals in London today. Good morning. Welcome to English News at 9:30. I'm Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday reviewed the preparedness of COVID-19 vaccine delivery, distribution and administration. The Prime Minister appreciated the efforts of innovators, scientists, academicians and pharma companies in their efforts to develop vaccines and directed that every effort should be made to facilitate the research, development and manufacturing of the vaccine. The Prime Minister also reviewed the aspects of emergency use authorization and for manufacture and procurement of medicine. He directed that a time-bound plan be laid out for speedy regulatory clearances and timely procurement for early rollout of the vaccination drive. He appreciated comprehensive efforts at vaccine development. The Prime Minister also emphasized that given the persisting pandemic scenario, there is no place for any relaxation in preventive measures such as wearing masks, keeping distance and ensuring hygiene. The meeting was attended by Principal Secretary to Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary, Member Niti Aayog, Principal Scientific Advisor, Secretary Health, DG ICMR, officers of PMO and secretaries of related departments of the Government of India. 5 vaccines are in advanced stage of development in India, out of which 4 are in Phase 2, Phase 3 and 1 is in Phase 1 or 2. The government has provided assistance of rupees 900 crores under COVID Suraksha mission to support research and development of COVID-19 vaccination. The digital platform for vaccine administration and distribution is prepared and test runs underway in partnership with the state and district level stakeholders. In an effort to administer the vaccine at the first available opportunity, database of healthcare and frontline workers, augmentation of cold chains and procurement of syringes as well as needles are in the advanced stage of preparation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will grace the 8th convocation of the Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University today via video conferencing. About 2,600 students will get their respective degree and diplomas at the convocation ceremony. The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of the 45 megawatt production plant of the monocrystalline solar photovoltaic panel and the Centre of Excellence on Water Technology during the event. The convocation will also witness Prime Minister inaugurating Innovation and Incubation Centre, Technology Business Incubation, Translational Research Centre and a sports complex at the Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday held a review meeting with Home Minister, National Security Advisor, Foreign Secretary and top intelligence establishment over the Nagrota encounter. According to sources, it was found that the terrorists were planning a big attack on the anniversary of the 26/11 terror attack.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said the security forces had defeated a nefarious plot to target grassroots-level democratic exercises in Jammu and Kashmir by killing 4 terrorists belonging to Pakistan-based terrorist organisation Jaish-e-Mohammed. PM Modi held a review meeting with the top security brass, including Home Minister Amit Shah, as it emerged that Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists killed in an encounter on the outskirts of Jammu were planning a big terror operation on the anniversary of the 26/11 Mumbai attack. NSA Ajit Doval, Foreign Secretary and top intelligence officials attended the meeting in which PM took stock of the situation. Taking to Twitter, PM Modi said, neutralizing of 4 terrorists belonging to Pakistan-based terrorist organisation Jaish-e-Mohammed and the presence of large cache of weapons and explosives with them indicates that their efforts to wreak major havoc and destruction have once again been thwarted. Our security forces have once again displayed utmost bravery and professionalism. Thanks to their alertness, they have defeated a nefarious plot to target grassroots-level democratic exercises in Jammu and Kashmir. 4 terrorists who recently infiltrated from Pakistan were killed and 2 policemen injured in a gunfight at the Ban Toll Plaza near Nagrota on the Srinagar-Jammu National Highway on Thursday. The 4 had huge amount of ammunition and explosive materials on them. Sources said the Pakistan-based terrorists were planning something big on the anniversary of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks on November 26th.
Now that the District Development Council elections have been planned, which marks the beginning or resumption of the democratic process in Kashmir and also signals that democracy is gaining roots, Pakistan is once again trying to disrupt that process.
The thwarted attack is being seen as an attempt to disturb peace in Jammu and Kashmir. To strengthen grassroots democracy in the Union Territory, District Development Council polls are being held in J&K next week.
370 खत्म होने के बाद भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट काउंसिल के इलेक्शन की क्या जरूरत थी? हमारे लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर भी बैठे हुए हैं, ऑफिसर भी बैठे हुए हैं, चल रहा था काम। जैसे महबूबा जी चला रही थी, जैसे फारूक अब्दुल्ला साहब चला रहे थे, जैसे और कांग्रेस पार्टी के लोग चला रहे थे, वैसे हम भी चलाते रहते। लेकिन हमने कहा नहीं, जो पॉलिटिकल प्रोसेस है उसमें पीपुल्स पार्टिसिपेशन होना चाहिए। जो सियासी और जो लोकतांत्रिक प्रोसेस है उसमें लोगों की भागीदारी और हिस्सेदारी होनी चाहिए।
The interception and killing of these 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists is also being seen as yet another success of the border grid in J&K that was strengthened this year by combining strict surveillance by Army and BSF troops at the LOC and international border with Pakistan with good presence and higher alertness levels of J&K police in border districts to intercept and neutralize terrorists who managed to sneak in before they can strike. With Sudhakar Das, DD India.
Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Tamil Nadu today. Home Minister's visit will see the inauguration of many infrastructure projects in the state. The Union Home Minister will dedicate the 380 crore Tevoroi Kandigai reservoir in neighbouring Tiruvallur district. The reservoir formed by combining 2 lakes, Tiruvoi Kandigai and Kanankotai, will meet Chennai's additional requirement for drinking water. Spread across 1,495 acres, it will serve as the 5th reservoir for the city and help to avert a drought-like situation in case of failure of rains. Amit Shah will also lay the foundation stone for a slew of infrastructure projects worth over 67,000 crore rupees during his visit. The Home Minister will lay the foundation stones for Phase 2 of the Chennai Metro Rail project, the Coimbatore Avinashi Elevated Expressway project, Indian Oil Corporation's Petroleum terminal at Vellore and a 1,400 crore loop plant, among others. Amit Shah will also address a meeting of BJP state office bearers and district presidents later in the day. India on Friday participated in the Arya Formula meeting of the United Nations Security Council on what can the Security Council do to support the peace process in Afghanistan. Under the Arya format, any UNSC member state can bring up an issue for discussion. Permanent representative of India to the UN, Ambassador T.S. Tirumurti, participated in the discussion on the crucial matter of Afghan peace process. Tirumurti said peace process and violence cannot go hand in hand and called for immediate comprehensive ceasefire. The envoy said, for durable peace in Afghanistan, Security Council has to unequivocally speak against violence and terrorist forces and act against terrorist sanctuaries and safe havens operated across the Durand Line. On the Afghan peace process, Tirumurti reiterated India's stance that the process must be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and Afghan-controlled, and solutions must come from the Afghans themselves in line with the wishes and aspirations of all the sections of Afghan society. Tirumurti also said that the international community should discourage medieval mentalities and work towards removal of artificial transit barriers imposed on Afghanistan. He said, international community should ensure all transit rights guaranteed to Afghanistan under bilateral and multilateral transit agreements operate without any hindrance. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be attending the 15th G20 Summit chaired by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia under the theme Realizing the Opportunities of the 21st Century for All. The meeting will be held in a virtual format. The focus of the upcoming G20 Summit will be on an inclusive, resilient and sustainable recovery from the COVID-19. During the G20 Summit, the leaders will discuss pandemic preparedness and the ways and means to restore jobs. The leaders will also share their vision for building an inclusive, sustainable and resilient future. This is the second G20 leaders meeting this year. Following the telephonic conversation between Prime Minister and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the last G20 Extraordinary Leaders Summit was held in March 2020, when the leaders developed a timely understanding among the G20 countries to help contain the spread of COVID-19 pandemic and to forge a global coordinated response. India will enter the G20 Troika along with Saudi Arabia when Italy will take over the presidency of the G20 on the 1st of December 2020. Time now to shift focus and taking a look at all updates on COVID-19 from across the country. 49,715, that's the number of recoveries that were recorded on Friday, taking the cumulative total of people recovering in India to 84,78,124. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 93.67%. India's three-pronged T3 strategy, that's test, trace and treat, is proving to be a success. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.47%, with 1,32,726 deaths being recorded so far. The number of active cases in COVID in India stand at 4,39,747, which is 4.86% of the total cases reported so far in India. As the fight against coronavirus continues, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has tweeted that there are 28 states and union territories which have less than 20,000 active cases, which come as a result of the government's efforts against the pandemic. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, a total of 13,657,808 samples have been tested for COVID-19 so far. 13,657,808 of these 10,66,022 samples were tested on Friday, that's 20th of November. In Gujarat, the weekend curfew will remain in force from 9 p.m. on November 20th, that's Friday night, till 6 a.m. on Monday morning in Ahmedabad city. Essential services like medical stores and milk booths will remain open during the curfew period. Gujarat State Transport Corporation has announced that their buses will not operate from Ahmedabad city during the curfew hours. City bus services also remained off the road during the curfew. However, the passengers coming or going by air or train will be allowed on presentation of proper documents to travel. Meanwhile, after imposing a weekend curfew in Ahmedabad, the Gujarat government on Friday decided to impose night curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in Surat, Vadodara and Rajkot in an effort to contain the surging COVID-19 cases. Moving to central India and Madhya Pradesh, where the Madhya Pradesh government has decided to impose night curfew in 5 cities due to the increasing COVID-19 cases in the state. However, the government has made it clear that complete lockdown will not be imposed in the state. Night curfew has been imposed from Friday night in Indore, Bhopal, Gwalior, Ratlam and Vidisha from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The government has decided to close schools up to 8th standard till 31st of December in the state. The colleges in the state will also remain closed. Students from class 9 to college level can come to school and college for guidance as per the COVID-19 guidelines. The cinema halls can still operate with 50% sitting capacity as per prior arrangement. The Mumbai Municipal Corporation, or the BMC, has announced that all schools in Mumbai will continue to remain shut until December 31st, keeping in mind the coronavirus situation in the financial capital amid a spike in coronavirus cases. However, schools in other parts of Maharashtra can reopen on November 23rd, keeping all COVID-19 safety protocols in place. Meanwhile, schools in Goa reopened today for classes 10 and 12. The state government has issued standard operating procedures or SOPs for partial reopening of schools in the state. As per the SOPs issued by the state government, there should not be more than 12 students in a class and suggested the odd-even formula for classes. Students should be sanitized before entering the school premises, and also social distancing or physical distancing be maintained in the classroom. And a minimum distance of 6 feet should be maintained between students. The schools in the state were closed down in March due to a lockdown imposed due to the virus. Let's now take a look at update on COVID-19 from across the world on how things are standing. As of now, there are 5,79 lakh cases of COVID-19 being reported worldwide. The global death toll now standing at 13,77,000. Global recovery is now reaching a round figure of 4 crores, and United States continues to be the worst affected countries by the pandemic so far when it comes to the highest number of infections as well as fatalities. In terms of infections, the number is now crossed the 1 crore 22 lakh mark, with the death toll now surging past the 2,60,000. The World Health Organization has issued a conditional recommendation against the use of remdesivir in hospitalized patients regardless of the disease severity, as there is currently no evidence that remdesivir improves survival of other outcomes in these patients. The recommendations were released on Friday and is part of the Living Guideline on Clinical Care for COVID-19. It was developed by an international guideline development group which includes 28 clinical care experts. In all, data from over 7,000 patients across 4 trials were considered. The evidence suggested no important effect on mortality, need for mechanical ventilation, time to clinical improvement, and other patient important outcomes. Pfizer and partner company BioNTech have formally submitted their request to US FDA for authorization of emergency administration for the COVID-19 vaccine. The companies have already initiated rolling submissions across the globe, including in Australia, Canada, Europe, Japan and the United Kingdom, and plan to submit applications immediately in other regulatory agencies around the world. Based on current projections, the company expects to produce globally up to 50 million doses in 2020 and up to 1.3 billion doses by the end of 2021. The companies will be ready to distribute the vaccine within hours after authorization. The eldest son of incumbent US President Donald Trump Jr. has tested positive for COVID-19. The president's son is asymptomatic and has been isolating since he received his positive test. Andrew Gilney, the son of the president's personal lawyer, Rudy Gilney, said he has also tested positive for COVID-19 on Friday. This comes after several other members of the Trump family and Trump Jr.'s friend Kimberly were infected and recovered from COVID-19 earlier this year. Mexico, meanwhile, has set up a new coronavirus rapid test kiosk as it registered 1 lakh confirmed COVID-19 deaths within days of passing the grim milestone of 1 million infections. Mexico accounts for over 7% of the confirmed deaths globally. Its mortality rate is nearly 10% and is higher than any other country that has reported more than 1 million cases. And government officials acknowledge that the count almost certainly reflects only a fraction of the real death toll. The government also charted out taking on debt to fund bailouts for businesses or cash payments for workers. Mexico City and its densely packed suburb homes to more than 20 million people have been an hotspot for infections. Portugal's President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa announced a 15-day extension of a state of emergency from next week to make way for extension of coronavirus measures following Parliament approval. The nationwide state of emergency, which included a nighttime curfew and a half-day lockdown on weekend days across 191 of the country's 308 municipalities, will now be extended until at least 8th of December. Government ministers met on Friday afternoon to agree on the new rules to be announced on Saturday. Portugal, with around 10 million people, has recorded 249,498 COVID-19 infections and 3,762 deaths. Confirmed new infections hit 6,994, the highest daily figure since the pandemic started, with most of the cases concentrated across the country's northern region. Testing has also increased in the European nation, Portugal. On to sports, Novak Djokovic outbattled Alexander Zverev to qualify for the last four at the ATP finals on Friday, staying on track to match Roger Federer's record of 6 titles at the end of the season event. The world number one, Djokovic, won 6-3, 7-6 over Zverev. Serbian tennis player Novak Djokovic will now take on Austria's Dominic Thiem in the first semi-final of the ATP finals in London later this evening. The 4-day-long celebrations of Chhath Puja concluded this morning with devotees paying respects to the rising sun in different parts of the country. The festival, which began on Wednesday, concluded with devotees offering Prata Arg to the rising sun and ending their 36-hour-long fast by taking Chhath Prasad. This is called Paran. This year, the festival was celebrated amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and several people offered their prayers to the sun god at their home in artificial ponds and water bodies, maintaining COVID-19 protocols. As per the tradition, devotees worship the sun god and his wife Usha to express gratitude and seek their blessings on Chhath. The festival is connected with purity, devotion to the sun god, who is considered as the source of life on this earth and regarded as the deity who fulfills all wishes. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. But remember, you should not forget to wear your mask as you step out of your house. You need to maintain all possible measures to take care of yourself from COVID-19, maintaining physical distance, washing your hands, sanitizing your hands if not possible to wash your hands. But take good care of yourself, because we all need to see a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching.